Today is my 30th birthday and I really wanted to cast on a new project, especially one that is a little bit special. So I finally cast on the Elisabeth Blouse by Petite using Classic by Cardiff, Cashmere in the colorway Nero. I'll put the number on the screen as well. I do apologize for my face, but I did wake up at 4:45 a.m. this morning because of my cat, and so I'm tired. But it does mean I've had a bit of progress made on this. So this is how much of the color I have. So this is going to sit somewhere like this, I suppose. And basically how you achieve that is that you cast on using the Judy's Magic Cast On. And so this is, this is black, so you're not going to be able to see much, but I've got a line down the middle basically where I've cast on. My tail is coming from here. You do need 2 sets of needle of the same needle size, which is a little bit annoying if you only have one. That means if you want to knit this pattern, you have to buy 2, I suppose, or another one, I mean. But it means that you're basically knitting one side, and then once you've reached one end of the row, you switch to knitting on the other side, and you always use the same needle for the same row. So, for example, for the row with the leaves, that's like I'm using those 2 needles that are on the same row, if that makes sense. And that is how you achieve this knit edge, which is going to be, I suppose, the polo neck vibes. And this is so much easier than the Charlie Pullover by Moroccanit, which I made earlier this year, I want to say, which was like knitted in double knitting, and there were quite a bit of German short rows as well to shape the color. And so I'm loving this one so far, but I do have to knit quite a bit more of it before I start the raglan increases, so I'll get back to you when I do that. But I'm very excited for this project. It's so soft. So let's keep knitting. It's time for an update. I haven't been able to chat with you much whilst knitting on this project, unfortunately, because I cast this on my birthday, and then the next day I was going on a surprise birthday trip. I didn't know what I was gonna do, or if I was gonna be able to film or even knit, but I've managed to knit quite a bit. Unfortunately, that means I've managed to finish the color and start and do the short rows and start the yoke without talking to you guys and without filming much, but hopefully I can still explain to you what I've done and talk about it a little bit. But this is the progress I've made. It's blowing out a little bit. It's looking so good. So I've finished the collar. This is really hard for me to say. The neckline. Oh, it's blowing out so much. Hopefully it's a little bit better. So you knit quite a long panel in the round after having done the Judy's Magic Cast On, which I think I told you about and I showed you a little bit. and then you kind of fold it down, so you have to weave in the ends before you do that because the ends are inside of that color, and so it looks like double knitting but it's actually not, which is really nice because it goes by so much faster. And then you fold it down and knit together the stitches from, because you knitted Jesus Magic Cast On, you have your stitches on 2 different needle sets, and so you have those 2 needle sets, and so you have, I'm gonna show that with these. So you have your stitches here and stitches here, and you basically knit them together. So you do knit 2 together, knit 2 together to knit them together, if that makes sense. And then that means you've got less stitches here under the collar. This is hard to show. This is the neckline, and then here, this is where you've stitched it together basically, and then you've got like half of the stitches you had for the neckline on your needles. So you do German short shaping a little bit whilst starting the raglan increases, and then once you've finished that, you just knit raglan increases to shape the yoke. But didn't mention, sorry for the light, you do put some stitches on hold from the neckline, which you can see here. I've put them on the stitch markers because that was the only thing I had next to me at that time, and so you've got like maybe 6 stitches, I don't remember how many, on hold. And once I've finished the main part of the yoke, I will knit a double knitting panel on each side, because you've got that as well here, and then you join those double knitting panels here, and that's what forms the v-neck. And then I think you still knit a little bit of the raglan increases before splitting the sleeves, but I'll talk about that when I'm there. So I think I've got maybe 2 or 3 more rounds of raglan increases to do before I have to do the double knitting panels, so I'll share that with you when I'm there. But this is so soft. This is so nice to work on. The yarn is really soft, and I'm excited to kind of try it on because I haven't yet. I'll do that once I film this to show you how it's fitting around my shoulders and stuff, and to see like how the neckline folds on its own and like make that kind of shape without you having actually to shape anything, which is really nice because for my Charlie pullover you had to do a lot of German short shaping in the double knitting to have that kind of V. I'll put a picture because I don't know how to explain that, but you don't have to do anything here, and that's really nice. So yeah, that's it. Blouse because the light is going out and it's a dark yarn, so I don't even know if you're going to be able to see anything, but I have officially got a lot of ends to weave in, but also I've officially joined in and I've finished the neckline with this really cute color. So now I've just got to do a couple of rounds with increases on just the body before I can split the sleeves. Split for sleeves. So I'm really excited. I'm trying to get working on it before I go away for Christmas, so that I have this very mindless knit to knit on during the Christmas chaos. Wanted to update you on this project because I haven't chatted with you in a while, I don't think, and like we've accomplished a lot. But also I'm going to be going away for a week for Christmas, and I'm going to take this project with me along with another one of my whips. And I think this is just going to be the perfect mindless stockinette project. So I might get a lot done, but I don't know how much filming I'm going to get to do because there's going to be family around me and I don't want to film children or anything, so we'll see. But this is how it's looking. I've tried it on, so I've also shown you that, but it's looking so good. So I've finished the double knitting around the V-neck, and I have split sleeves as well, and I've knitted like maybe 1 centimeter under the arm, but that's about it. And I tried it on earlier and I only had just split for sleeves, so I'm going to try it on again just to check that it's okay and not too stretched out or anything, because it definitely looks not tight, but it's meant to have not that much positivities, but I'm just a little bit scared that it maybe doesn't have enough. So I'll try it again in a second. But yeah, I'm really excited about this, and I think I can probably get most of the body done next week, if not all. Like, that would be nice. At least start on the ribbing like before I come back. That would be nice, but we'll see. So let me try it on again. You know my hair, which is electric for some reason, but this is how it's looking. It's definitely a bit tight, but I think with blocking it'll be fine. That looks so cute. I mean, obviously it doesn't look like much right now because I don't really have any body, but I mean, you know, I've got room, and I think, yeah, I think we're good. So that's reassuring, because I was scared that tomorrow, because I've got quite a bit of car ride, I'm going to be able to knit in the car for a while, and so if I do like 5 centimeters on the body and then I try it on and then I realize it's too small, that would have been sad. So I just really wanted to try it on tonight. So yeah, I'll see you when I see you. Bye. as you can see, I have almost finished the body. I've started the ribbing, which is just like not even 1 centimeter of ribbing yet. But I think the size will be great because you have to do 6 centimeters of ribbing. Might do 7, 8, we'll see depending on the length it gives me. But I love how it's looking. I got quite a lot done on the body during my week away because it was just a simple stockinette project. It was perfect for Christmas break because it's a bit chaotic with my family. Like, I didn't have that much time to knit, so it was just like picking up my project for 15 minutes, just knitting in the round, knitting in the car. It was really great project to take with me, so I'm really happy I did that. And yeah, I mean, I got almost all of the body done during that week. I don't know if there's much I can say other than that. The one thing I'm doing is that for the ribbing, I am turning my work. That's what I usually do now with my project to make the ribbing neater, is to do a German short row so that I can knit the ribbing from basically the inside, and so that the outside of my ribbing is technically the inside of the ribbing if I didn't do that German short row. I hope that makes sense. I can show it on another project I've got here. Hopefully you can see how nice the ribbing is versus on the inside. It's not horrible, but it's just not as nice. I don't think it's as visible on in the camera, but in real life it really truly shows. I'm excited to finish the body and then work on one of the sleeves. Also, I did want to show you how pretty the neckline is looking in the daylight, because I think I only showed it at night. How good does that look? I'm gonna be honest, I've never done any tying bind off in a car before, but I mean it works surprisingly well. But I'm in the middle of it, but I think I may have messed up a little bit because I thought I had done the only one round of the double knitting, and so I thought I had still one left to do before doing the bind off. But I think actually I might have already done the 2 rows of double knitting, and then I just did a third one, but repeating the second one, so slipping the knit stitches and purling the purl stitches. So I think it's looking a tiny bit weird, but I've decided that I'm gonna finish it and then I'm gonna see how it looks, and if I have to undo it and start all over, I'll do that, but I think it'll be fine. I think it's a little bit weird, but passable, let's say. So yeah, I've got to finish this and then I can start the sleeve, and that's very exciting. what you're gonna say, I'm always filming this particular knitting vlog at night, which is really annoying because this pattern is already kind of hard to see in the daylight. I apologize. That's just what it is. I am, however, going to focus on it this weekend, so hopefully I can have more shots in the daytime. But I have finished the first sleeve and I wanted to talk to you about it because I've actually made some modifications. Okay, I've changed the settings a bit, so hopefully the lighting is a tiny bit better, but what I've done is I started by following the pattern, getting the right amount of stitches for the sleeve and following the decrease rate. But after the 4th decrease, I tried it on and I realized it was already a bit tight. And I get that this is a garment with less positives than I'm used to. It's, I think, only got 6 centimeters, right? But I don't want the sleeve to be too tight. I don't like that feeling, and I don't want it to be too wide either, because obviously, because the body itself doesn't have a lot of positives, it doesn't make sense for the sleeve to have some, but I don't want it to be too tight. So I decided that I was gonna stop the decreases, because I think I had 2 options. I could either stop doing the decreases and just knit it to the length that I wanted, do the ribbing, bind off, or I could figure out a different decrease rate. So I think I had 3 options. Figure out a different decrease rate for the bottom of the sleeve, or like I think the 4th decrease is around here somewhere. Like either do less decreases, different amount, or I could frog and do a different decrease rate. I didn't want to do that. I just thought I'm just gonna try not decreasing anymore and see what that is, what that looks like, if I like the filling. And especially I was looking at pictures of the pattern on Ravelry and at Petite Knit samples, and you can never see what the sleeves look like, because in every sample picture she's got her sleeves rolled up, which I found really annoying. I looked at other people who had done this pattern, obviously, and the sleeves always looked a tiny bit tighter than what I wanted. So I just decided to not do any decreases around, I think it's around here somewhere, that this has no decrease. And honestly, I don't think it looks too bad. I think because I've got those decreases at the beginning of the sleeve, I think it looks fine. It doesn't look tapered, but that's not the look I wanted, so that's fine. I think I did about the amount of ribbing mentioned in the pattern though. Don't know how much you can see that. Where my fingers are is where the ribbing starts. And I did the same thing as I did on the body, which was to do the double knitting, no, the ribbing from the inside out, which is what I tend to do. I think it does like twist my stitches a bit, but I mean, if that's what I get to get knitted ribbing without actually doing twisted rib, that's fine by me. If you know what I mean. Okay, let's try it on. I'm very excited. I love how it's looking. I'm gonna talk like that. You're not gonna be able to see my face, I don't think. Maybe like this actually. I've got to be careful, there's a guitar behind me. Okay, this is what it's looking like. And this is how the sleeve is. You can see it's already pretty tapered, right? Like there's a little bit of gap here. This could be like this. But I think it looks great like that. I think it fits the like positivist that the body has quite well. It's not too much, it's not too little. So I think that's good. You can see, I think the camera behind me, but that's okay. And yeah, that's the body as well. I'm very excited to see it blocked, because as you can see, it kind of rides up a bit. I think that's just because it's unblocked, and I think the ribbing is gonna help once it's not. I don't know how to explain. I've also just put the sleeve on the cable needle, but I haven't picked up stitches under the arms yet, so that's what I'm gonna do tonight. I'm gonna start the second sleeve, and I mean, if I can get this done this weekend, that would be amazing. I don't think I will. I think it might be an early next week thing, but yeah, I'm loving how it's looking. So let's start the second sleeve. Just before I leave you, I only have 2 skeins of the Cardiff cashmere left, but bear in mind that I did buy 1 more skein than I was supposed to for the size that I'm knitting, because I just didn't know which size I was going to make, so just in case I bought 1 more. And so technically I should only be having to use 1 ball, but I think I'm going to have to break into the second, because I think for the first sleeve I used a little bit over 1, and I'll let you know if that's the case, just so you guys know. But at the end I'll tell you exactly how much yarn I used and everything. It's time for the final thoughts about the pattern, the final stats about this project, so let's talk about it. I am so happy to finish this project. I really enjoy it. I think it's probably the softest thing I've ever owned, and I really also enjoy the fact that it's quite a thin project. You know, it was knit only on 4mm needles, I've already forgotten. But it's a great knit to have in my wardrobe. I think it's going to be perfect for the transitional periods, for, you know, from winter to spring. I think even late spring, early summer could be good to have, and then obviously at the end of the year as well. I haven't worn it yet much because obviously we're still in winter, it's still pretty cold, but I have worn it once or twice and I'm really enjoying it. As for the pattern itself, I would say it's quite clear. I mean, it's a Petite knits pattern, but the only kind of tricky thing, if you're an intermediate knitter, would be to learn the Judy's Magic cast on. It's always a little bit fiddly even for experienced knitter, but once you get past that cast on, it's pretty smooth sailing. If you're a beginner knitter, you've got to learn how to do German short rows and raglan increases and sleeve decreases. So it's quite a lot of new techniques to learn if you don't know any of them, but if you're an adventurous beginner knitter, I would say this is quite a good pattern to go for. Oh, you do have double knitting too for the V-neck edges though, so not that tricky, but just another technique to learn. But I would venture to say that that's a good pattern for beginners anyways. I haven't had any issues with the pattern itself. I'm very happy with the finished piece. The one thing is that the neckline does kind of, you can see it's quite wide. Obviously right now I have the mic, so that does kind of pull it a bit more, but even without the mic it's quite a wide neckline, so maybe I don't know what could be done to not have that happen. Maybe it's because it's a tiny bit tight on my shoulders, not sure. I'm really happy with the positive ease that I've got, which is not that much. I think it's the recommended positive ease, which is 6 centimeters. I haven't checked, but that feels like that's what it is. And then for the sleeve, as I mentioned previously, I do have more positives at the bottom of the sleeves because I didn't do any of the decreases. But let's talk about the stats of this project. This, I don't think I mentioned in this vlog, but I should have. This pattern was very kindly gifted to me by a viewer, so thank you, Heather, so much for gifting me this pattern. I really, really appreciate it. It makes this project even more special. You guys know I cast this on my 30th birthday. This is a very luxurious yarn that I bought for myself because I accomplished a personal goal of mine. And so all of those tiny elements make this knit such a special knit in my wardrobe. So thank you so much, Heather, for gifting me the pattern. So I didn't buy the pattern, but if I had, that would have been 6.98 euros. And then for the yarn, I paid 156.20 euros for 11 skeins. I used almost all of the skeins, like I definitely broke into the 11th one, so I'm counting all of them. And so the total cost for this project would have been 163.18 euros, but because I didn't buy the pattern, it was only the cost of the yarn for myself, which is still pretty expensive, but it is 100% cashmere yarn. It is a very special knit, as I said, and also it's not the most expensive knit in my wardrobe, I'm not gonna lie. So definitely not something that I would do every single month, but I'm very happy to have done it, and I will definitely use this yarn again. I'm already dreaming of another stockinette project in this beautiful yarn, and I think it might happen this year, but we'll see. The number of days it took me, I cast this on the 4th of December, which is my birthday, and I cast this off on the 18th of January. So it took me 45 days to complete. So pretty quick knits, but as I said, it was a very mindless project once I was past the yoke, and it was just mindless knitting in the round. It was just the perfect project for me at that moment. During the Christmas chaos, lots of traveling, so lots of knitting in the car. It was a perfect project for that as well. So I think that's one thing I'm gonna keep in mind for my next birthday cast on, because that's a tradition that I would like to keep up, is to cast on a mindless project, because then once it comes to Christmas, I mostly should be done with the yoke, and then I can just knit mindlessly amidst the chaos. And so yeah, that's a good learning for me to have. So let me know if you have any questions down below about this project. I would love to hear your thoughts on the vlog in general or on the project itself. What do you think? I'm really happy to have this black piece in my wardrobe as well. I didn't mention, but this is the first black knitted piece that I've made, and I'm excited to hopefully do at least one more this year. I think black is very tricky to capture for the vlogs, for pictures, but it's such a good piece to have in my wardrobe. It's something that I'm gravitating towards quite a bit. I mean, not as much since I don't have any knitted pieces until this one, but yeah, I'm excited to do a black cardigan later this year because I really need that in my wardrobe. But thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!